I'm just sending it to the group and then I will start that. So we're back here. Just a second. Oh, we are on live stream now. We'll start in just a second. Just give me 1 second. Sorry. Okay, sorry for the delay. I guess we are still recording it. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Narasimha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavadaram Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Let me share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see.
Very good. So we are doing, wait a minute, lecture 84. Wait a minute. Okay.
85.
It should be 85, But let me see what happened. Just a second. Lectures 84. Okay. What was saved? Okay. Don't worry about this. It should be 85. I'm just going to make 85 here. From current slide. So sorry for the delay. I had to rush from another meeting and then come over to this meeting. So I had some trouble today. See, this lecture we're going to take in a slightly different way. So today, why are we studying Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta? I want to make this a little interactive. I want to get your feedback. It's very important in fact, I'm going to stop share right now in a minute, and I'm just going to ask you why are we studying Bhagavad Gita today? I want to get your answers. Just give me a couple of answers. What is the value of Vedanta today?
I would like to know more about myself, Krishna ji.
Like to know more about yourself, right?
Yes, that's the main reason. Anybody
else? I want you to be interactive because it's important, because we're going to deliver the course according to what you want. Because in 11 classes or 12 classes or 14 classes, it doesn't matter. We cannot deliver everything in this world. We cannot read all the Shastras. We're going over an overview of Bhagavad Gita, and even that is so difficult. We can't finish even one Bhashya correctly in 11 or 8 classes, 11 or 15 classes. But we are trying to do an overview. How should we do the overview? We have to do it suitable to your requirements. So that is why I'm asking you, what do you want out of this class?
This is Prashant here.
All of you to say something. We have only a few people, 6 people.
Prashant here.
Yeah.
Namaskara. So I had 3 or 4 of the major reasons for coming for this Bhagavad Gita class. First, always I had an interest to know about Brahman. That is the first thing. But the second thing is about learning Vedanta and Bhagavad Gita, because I had never learned Bhagavad Gita in the way in which we are learning today. The 3 different, the major Bhashyas of the Acharyas, those are very important. The 3 different viewpoints. And then in today's world, it is very important to understand Bhagavad Gita because we don't have much time. So as of now, my personal opinion would be that I would like to study as much as possible because I've already started very late. That is one of the reasons.
One question for you. See, as you know, there are thousands of books, thousands of texts, thousands of Shastras. Okay. To really understand, we will spend all our life. So you have to make a life plan. You will not be able to study all the Shastras. We are already late. Are we going to study all Yajurveda, Rigveda, Samveda and everything? How many mantras are there? 25,000 mantras are there in the entire Vedas, as we know. What is available today?
At least Bhagavad Gita, which is the essence of all the Upanishads.
What will you do? What will you do with the knowledge? I want you to see, suppose today, assume that by tomorrow you know everything about Bhagavad Gita, what you need to know. What will you do with it?
That is the first. I would say that is like junior KG. And once I complete it later on, we need to follow that in life. That is the second thing. The first thing is to understand.
Okay. Well, if you follow today, if you start following, what path would it be comfortable? What path would you take? There are so many paths in the Bhagavad Gita. Jnana, karma, bhakti, everything is there. What path is reasonable to you today?
The first one is Prapatti. I would go with Prapatti.
Okay, good. Now, anybody else? I want to ask other people.
ஒரு பிரபன்னாளா இருந்துட்டு பகவான் திருவுள்ளம் உகக்கும்படியா சீர்கலைந்த சொல் நினைந்து போக்காரேல் சூழ்வினையின் ஆழ்துயரை என் நினைந்து போக்குவரி போது ஆழ்வார் சொல்லியிருக்கார். அது போல என் காலத்தை பகவான் திருவுள்ளம் உகக்கும்படியா என்னால முடிஞ்ச வரைக்கும் அதை புரிஞ்சுக்கிறதுக்கு ட்ரை பண்ணிட்டு நான் இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும்னு ஆசைப்படுறேன். அடியே.
Good, good. Anybody else? I want each of you to be honest and say. This whole class is about honesty. We cannot fool ourselves. Just let us.
Sir, Ramanathan, sir.
Chalanga. In whatever language.
Yes, sir. Actually, English I am speaking. Actually, I also studied Bhagavad Gita for so many years. After attending your class only recently, 2 months back, I started studying Bhagavad Gita, sir. And then slowly I am understanding the gist of this Bhagavad Gita. Actually, who are we? What are we? What are we here for? What is our main sole purpose for the Gita? That is what, as of now, I have understood by studying Bhagavad Gita.
Okay. See, see, how many years have you studied this?
No, just hardly 2 months back. I just attended your classes, and that's it.
Okay. So, I guess, what are you doing now? You are working somewhere, or
yes, I'm working, sir. No, I'm working, sir. Yes.
Okay. All right. Next, who is going to talk? There are 2 people left. You got to open up and talk. Sriniket and Swati. Hope you understood the question. What are you going to do with the knowledge? Why are you studying Bhagavad Gita? What do you want out of it? We only have 15, 11, 12, 13 classes or something like that. But you need to, how will you use this information? What will you do with it tomorrow if you know everything?
Namaste, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very new to all of this. I've just started from these special classes, the rest of these 11 classes, and I'm just here because, you know, that this is supposed to be the entry-level text into all of this. So I'm very new to basically anything related to spirituality and all of that. So I thought this is the best place to start with. I'm still a student now, so. And
okay, I understand. Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so I don't have much of an idea with anything.
Okay, the ideas will come to you eventually over some time. Okay, so you're at the right place. Now, Swati, can you hear me? Can you tell me why you are attending this class? What do you want to do with this knowledge? I think she's not hearing. Okay, now let me come back and show my screen. Okay, and I will tell you why we asked this question. What do we want to do with it?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. After I started reading the Bhagavad Gita, I learned a great deal about Nishkama Karma, devotion to God, and then finally Prapatti. And the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, what it says about Prapatti. So I would like to adhere to that.
Okay.
That's what I learned from it.
Okay, good. So one person missing.
Devotion. 12th and the 15th, they teach you a great deal about devotion.
Correct.
Bhakti. And finally you come to Sarvadharman Parityaja, and before that, the verse I like most in Bhagavad Gita. What's that? I think it's the 61st verse. It's at the tip of my tongue. I'm not getting it ready.
Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata.
Yes. That's one verse I love the most in Bhagavad Gita. So I can feel the devotion in me when I read that verse. Every time I read it. Perfect. In fact, even more, yes. So that's how it has helped me, I should say, in a very small way. Of course, I'm nowhere compared to people like you. Yet, in my own way, I'm making an effort.
I'm nowhere either. Don't worry. Ramaji, what about you? What do you want out of this class? The next person, somebody came. What do you want out of this class?
I didn't get your question.
Did you
The
ask me
question
or
is,
who was it?
why are you studying this? If you want 11 or 12 classes of this overview, what will you do with it? What is your purpose? Because we cannot cover all the information, but we would like to tailor this information to you. That is why I'm asking you, what will you do with this knowledge? What is important to you?
Who are you asking me the question?
Yes, all of them answered already. You are the last person.
Oh yeah, I just logged on here. I because I just want to learn. I want to know what I don't know, and I think there is more I don't know. The more I learn, I feel there is more I want to know.
What will you do with the information?
Yes, that is there. That is there.
What will I do with it? Is I just increase my knowledge, and I feel that it will lead me to the right path to reach the goal.
Okay, all right. All right, now we know where you are, what you want out of it. Let me tell you what I have found out, okay? I have done okay, let us now first start with the summary of the last class. The last class, you can see my screen, I guess. 1 second.
Yes,
I'll put it here somewhere so that I can see. Summary of the last class. We viewed 6 chapters by 3 Acharyas. Okay. We also talked about the background of the Mahabharata war and how Gita Upadesha began. Okay. We talked about the 2nd chapter, details from Acharyas. We are all selves, Jivatmas bound in matter. And Sri Krishna introduced Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga in the 2nd chapter. And both of them are designed to get away from the shackles of samsara. People may think that I'm not bound, I'm not in any kind of prison or anything like that. I'm happily moving around wherever I go. No, we are bound by the indriyas. The senses are controlling us. The mind is controlling us. Mind is not under our control. The mind is pushing us here and there, making us attracted to so many things, out of which we get limited joy, limited happiness. We are not finding the real happiness. So we are stuck, not with the ropes you think, not with this nylon or some kind of ropes. We are stuck in a different way. We are stuck in this body, stuck to our attractions. So attachments results in bondage. To get out of it, you need Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. So in the 2nd chapter, we talked about Brahma Nirvana. That means how do you get away, disentangle, dismantle this bondage. That was said in the 2nd chapter in the Sthita Prajna areas, that is in the last few verses. And they talked about Brahma Nirvana as what people achieve. And what exactly is Brahma Nirvana according to different Acharyas? Now I'll ask you a question. For Shankaracharya, what is Brahma Nirvana?
It is merging with the one.
Jnana.
Jnana. Anybody else?
It's merging with the one, knowing that you are Brahman. That's all.
Correct. Correct. So Brahma Nirvana is the final state. That means you will become yourself. And that yourself is Nirguna Brahman. And then what about Madhvacharya? What does he think about Brahma Nirvana?
For Madhvacharya, it is just knowing, getting moksha from this samsara, but then God always exists, and the Jivatma is also existing always.
That means they are separate. They are always separate.
Yes.
And then, so moksha is going close to God and trying to get a better perspective of Hari, getting more knowledge of Hari, and continuing the bhakti process to get more and more and more knowledge of Hari continuously. Right? That is what moksha is for Madhvacharya. Now, for Ramanuja.org, what does it mean?
Sir, merging with Brahma, sir. Merging with Brahman.
Which one? Oh, you mean Ramanuja.org?
Yes, sir. Ramanuja.org.
We are talking about Brahma. No, we are talking about the stage of Brahma Nirvana as explained in the 2nd chapter. Anybody? It is very important to know this difference. Anybody else? You can think and reconsider, change your answer if you want. Merging with Brahman is not indicated by Ramanuja.org. Ramanuja.org says something else. What is that? Anybody? Okay. Do I hear an answer?
Refresh.
Huh? What did you say?
I think we should have done our homework before attending this.
Okay, no answer yet, right? What are the first 6 chapters for Sri Ramanujacharya? What is the goal and the essence of the first 6 chapters for Sri Ramanujacharya?
Jivatma Sakshatkara.
Karma, sir.
Not karma.
It's about Jivatma Sakshatkara and
correct. Only Jivatma Sakshatkara. Jivatma, Paramatma are different for Ramanujacharya, right? They are totally different. So,
and residing in Nitya Vibhuti. Residing in Vaikuntha, that is Nitya Vibhuti.
Let's keep it that way, okay? Fine. Even in Vaikuntha, there is difference. Why don't we say that there is difference? Because Bhogya Matra Samya Lingacha is there, right? There is difference in anything other than experience, right?
Yes.
So there is difference. So it is not exactly the Aikya of Shankaracharya anyway. Let us leave it that way. That is the conventional answer. Let us not go into in-depth and we won't get anywhere. But the thing is that that's a conventional answer. So now, second chapter for Ramanujacharya is only Brahma Nirvana, where only Atma is realized. Atma is seen. Atma is realized in some way. But that realization has to become bigger and better and more mature over time. And that then that Dhyana Yoga will give Atma Anubhava. That is in the 6th chapter. So in the 2nd chapter for Ramanujacharya, it is only beginning. It is just starting. And what that person realizes is, I am different from matter. And what is the nature of I? I am pure, I am cool, calm, I am not subjected to the powers of mind which will take me away. Now I have won over the mind. Now I can see myself clearly. I am not attracted to any Indriya issues. And I see myself as pure, unitary, separate. This is what is Jivatma, Avalokana and Anubhava to some extent. Please mute yourself. One person has not muted. Who is that? Swati maybe is not muted. Please, Swati ji, mute yourself. Okay. Now, hello, Swati ji, please mute yourself. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Please mute yourself because I'm hearing some noise from background. Okay. The message, what I am going to present to you in the next only few classes, because I have to summarize within 3-4 classes, right? I have to summarize. So I will take my own path based on certain characteristics. That is, I have asked you some feedback. I will take that in my mind. I have asked several other people as feedback. Even in the HUA course I taught, I asked about 25 people their feedback. And they give me some feedback. Because we want to make it relevant for today. If we don't make it relevant for today, there is no use of this knowledge. It is like saying for a high school kid, if you give them a postdoctorate research thesis and make them work on it, what will they understand? How will they use it? They will not use it. So the information becomes non-usable. Hence, we want to make it relevant for people. So the summary of all 3 Bhashyas is not possible within 3-4 classes. We need a different strategy. What will we do? Let us talk. Before giving you, I can give you the summary of all the Bhashyas in just 5 minutes. How do we do it? Think about this. Watch this slide. Shankaracharya wants to establish everything using only one entity called Brahman. Other than Brahman, for Shankaracharya, there's nothing real. Jiva is not real. Jada is not real. Saguna Brahman is also not real. Nirguna Brahman is the only thing which is true for Shankaracharya. And the rest is of less importance. So what Shankaracharya says is, you do Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. And through Jnana Yoga, you directly reach Paramatma, which is same as Atma, which is same as only one Brahman. So Shankaracharya, it is very straightforward. So in his presentation, in his Bhashya, Shankaracharya clearly switches. Wherever you see Bheda, what is that Bheda means? Difference between Jiva, Jada, Paramatma, I am separate, Devatas are separate, Parabrahma is, Saguna Brahman is separate, this is separate, that's separate. As long as he sees any Bheda, then he is in the position of Ajnana. He is in the state of Ajnana. There is no true Jnana. Once he gets true Jnana, everything goes away because they are all illusory. And what is true is the self within, that is Nirguna Brahman, that is Atman. For Shankaracharya, it is straightforward. For Madhvacharya, yes, Madhvacharya accepts we are all Jivatmas. There is Veda, always Veda. What is attainment of Paramatma? Attainment of Paramatma is only getting the higher level of Bhakti. And with that Bhakti, you get Prasada of Paramatma. Prasada is blessings of that Hari. Due to blessings, we will be released from the cycle of births and deaths. But you still separate and you constantly aim to become closer to Paramatma, and you constantly spend your time in Bhakti, Bhakti, Bhakti only, in the higher level, in the higher realms. Without this external body, you will experience Parabrahman separately from yourself. That is the Madhvacharya view. And Madhvacharya explains here and there, whenever Jiva is there, Madhvacharya, out of the 700, 800 shlokas, only few shlokas are Jiva Para for Madhvacharya. Only few shlokas, they are talking about Jiva and Jiva related information. Most of it is Krishna only. And how to get closer to Krishna, the Bhakti aspect of it, that is the only strategy Madhvacharya uses. On the other hand, Ramanuja.org uses a clear separation. You do what you want to do today. You do any kind of dhyana, jnana, anything you think of. You do karma, you do jnana, you do bhakti, it doesn't matter. Initially, all you can do is to realize Jiva only. Initially, your first realization has to be Jivatma. You should know who you are, not just conceptually. You should realize your Jivatma, that is Jivatma Sakshatkara. And that happens due to Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga combined with a little bit of Bhakti, superficial Bhakti. Then, once you realize yourself, then you start thinking, oh my God, I am so powerful, Jivatma. I am very similar to Brahman. But why am I not independent? Who is powering me? Who is within me? Who is controlling me? Who is making me go through the cycles of births and deaths? You start questioning and you figure out that there is something so powerful which is different from you, which is powering you, which is inside you and outside you, and that is Brahman. And that is Saguna. Always, there is no Nirguna Brahman for Ramanuja.org. He says the Nirguna Brahman cannot be explained, and not even Shrutis, not a single statement of Shruti can talk about a attributeless entity. That's impossible. And such an entity does not exist for Ramanuja.org. So he says, Bhakti is Bhakti Yoga comes only when one realizes Jivatma. Once you realize Jivatma, you can continue with the Bhakti Yoga. Janma, Janmantara, so many Janmas. Bahunam, Janmanamante, Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. After a number of Janmas, one attains more and more Bhakti and Jnana, and finally realizes Parabrahman. And there he will become sort of mixed with Parabrahman, one with Parabrahman in a way, in experience only, in Anubhava only. Like there are a number of analogies given there. Aham Brahmasmi, he feels like Aham Brahmasmi because he sees the power of Brahman right within himself. And then he thinks that he has become one in a way, but he hasn't become one. So there's a small difference. So Ramanuja.org takes it in that way. So among these three Acharyas, let's go further. Okay? I wrote the same thing in a slightly different way. So for Advaita, everything is anatma, that is not self. The self is only Nirguna Brahman. So karma and bhakti can only give can get you away from anatma. You can know your chitta shuddhi comes, that is, your mind becomes pure. Once the pure mind comes, the atma jnana will directly flow into you, and you become only one. That is only existent atman, that is Nirguna Brahman. That is Shankaracharya's view. For Dvaita, karma, jnana, bhakti, everything is important. Jivatma sakshatkara, if it happens, it may happen, doesn't matter much. True goal is Krishna, Hari, Darshana. To see Hari Darshana, Bimba Darshana, to see Darshana, you need the prasada of Krishna, that means blessings of Krishna. After that, he will get more and more in bhakti, and you will be separate, but you experience nearness, closeness, and knowledge of Hari to a certain extent. And of course, Jiva Veda is there. There is stratification, Taratamya, or hierarchy of Devatas, hierarchy of Jivatmas are there. So you can only do the best you can do based on who you are. Devatas can do better than you. You can do less than Devatas. Devatas know about Hari better, but you slowly, eventually become closer and closer, and you will attain bhakti only at the end. But without coming back to the cycle of births and deaths. Here in Vishishtadvaita, you start with Samanya Bhakti and Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga. Samanya Bhakti is just the belief in God, that's all, in a way. And that you can continue with Nama Sankirtana, going to temples, doing, reading so many shlokas, whatever you want to do, you can do. But that has to be combined with Karma and Jnana. That will only get you Jivatma Sakshatkara, that's all, initially. And then once you realize your own Jivatma, you go further, and then you find out who is powering you and how Lord, or the creator, the sustainer, and the destroyer is different from you. And the Bhakti Yoga begins. And you cannot stop at that time, because you know that the rest of the matter and all the material connections are of waste. There is no value out of those. You realize that. Then you go after this wonderful, most auspicious Brahman. And you continue with your dhyana, bhakti yoga, and then eventually attain extreme proximity, extreme similarity to Parabrahman. Now you know all three systems in an overview fashion, right? Agreed?
Yes,
it
Krishna.
may take some time for you to understand.
Yes.
Go ahead. All right. Now, what are we going to do? We will come, see, 11 classes are not sufficient to summarize everything. And based on all the feedback, we know where we are. We all are in a particular level in our lives, in our realization also. So we have to be, Samanya Bhakti is what we require. We have to understand Samanya Bhakti, and we have to develop Samanya Bhakti initially. I'll tell you why. Because I'm not going to explain this picture, what I wrote. I just now wrote it just 10 minutes ago. But I'm going to come back to this, okay? Now let's take what do today's Madhvacharya Mathas. If you go to there are 8 Mathas known as Ashtamathas. What do you get if you go to Madhvacharya Mata? All you see is every of these Acharyas today, Pejaramat or any of these Acharyas are praying to Lord Krishna every day. They do puja every day. They offer flowers. They do different kinds of pujas to Krishna in the form of would-be Krishna. That is their main deity, and that is what they follow even today, right? Think about the Shankara Bhashya. Brahman, on one end, there are two ways to look at Shankara Bhashya, right? In the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, clearly in the Shankara Bhashya, directly I am quoting Shankara Bhashya, Brahman cannot be known by karma of any kind. Karma, action of any kind. You can go to drive to the temple, sit down in the temple, spend 10 hours in the temple a day, it doesn't matter. Those kind of karmas will not give you any Brahma Sakshatkara. Worship cannot give you Brahman realization. Bhakti is worship. But by jnana alone, you get Brahman realization. Worship is only for the purification, to get ready to receive jnana. And worship is for the ajnanis. One who is a jnani will give up all work because he directly realizes Brahman within. In fact, jnani has to give up all karmas whatsoever. Like how Ramakrishna Paramahamsa could not do the mother's rites, his mother's rites, and hence he gave up everything at that time. He was unable to do any karma. Shankaracharya did karma though, that you remember, right? He had promised his mother that he will do the karma. So he came and did the karmas. He took an exception. Acharyas do puja in Shankara Mata for Loka Sangraha. Only a person who is not connected to any matha and things like that, who is a very, very realized person, can be far away in a lonely place in a forest or something. That person need not do any kind of puja because he is already a jnani. So Shankaracharya's Matha, they have taken in a different way. But today, if you go to Sringeri Jagadguru Matha, what will you see? This is in the right bottom corner, it is Sringeri Matha. What do you see? You see a wonderful mantapa. You see a number of deities. And they are doing, what is it known as Chandramaurishwara Puja, probably. Right? Shankaracharya himself, it seems, directly realized Shiva Parvati, and they gave him the Chandramaurishwara Puja Vigrahas. And Shankaracharya took 4 of them, I think, and established 4 mathas in India, in Puri, Jagannath, Dwaraka, and what do you call South India, one place, Sringeri, maybe, I'm not sure. I don't know the 4 mathas exactly. Okay, but there are several mathas. Huh?
One is Kedarnath.
One is Sringeri, Puri, Kedarnath, and next is Dwaraka.
Dwaraka, Kedarnath, Sringeri, Puri. 4. Okay, they are the 4 main centers, and there the Chandramaurishwara Puja is established by Shankaracharya himself. Shankaracharya, on one end in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya, says worship does not get you Brahma Sakshatkara. But the thing is that will purify you. That's important. Purification is the first step. In the what do you call Panchanatra Agama, in the Bhashyas, Shankaracharya clearly says Tatra Bhagavataha Manyate Bhagavan Eva Eko Vasudevaha Niranjanaha Jnanaswarupaha Tam Itham Bhutam Parameshwaram Bhagavantam Abhigamana Upadana Ijya Swadhyaya Yogaihi Varshashatamishtva Kshinakvesho Bhagavantameva Pratipadyate iti Shankara Bhashya 2.2.42. Remember this Bhashya very clearly. What Shankaracharya is saying is, Bhagavatas are there, Pancharatra system people. What they think is, Bhagavan is only one, he is Parameshwara. He is Vasudeva. He is Niranjana, Jnana Surupa, pure Jnana form. That Bhagavanta is worshipped by Abhigamana, that means in the morning puja. Upadana, going and getting materials and earning materials to support pujas. Swadhyaya, study of the scriptures. Yoga, meditation. Varsha Shatam Ishtva, 100 years you have to continuously do this work. Kshina Kleshaha, that means after losing all the papas and sins, Bhagavantameva, that Vasudevam, that person attains Vasudeva himself. This is acceptable to Shankaracharya, be it. He says that is also a good method, but not a wrong method. That's exactly even today, Sringeri Matha, Swarnavalli Matha, they have different devatas. They also worship Lakshmi Narasimha. They worship, I think, Parvat, some Shakti, a couple of other devatas they worship. But they also worship Lakshmi Narasimha. That is it is actually Shankaracharya Matha, but still they worship Lakshmi Narasimha in that particular.
Yeah. Lakshmi Narasimha is the major deity, the deity of the Matha.
It's a major deity?
Yeah.
Yes, a major deity in Sringeri temple. Sringeri temple is major deity.
No, but in the Sonde Swarnavalli Matha, what about the Chandamodeshwar Puja and other pujas?
No,
that is not major deity.
In Sonde Matha, it's only Lakshmi Narasimha Swami.
Oh, okay. So in the Shankara Matha, even today, whether you go to Badri, whether you go to Kedarnath, whether you go to Dwaraka, you go to different Shankara Mathas today. You tell me, every Shankara Matha there is some worship, right? Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So Bhakti is becoming important, even though Shankaracharya says Jnana is the highest. That means you have to get Jnana. To get to Jnana, you need Bhakti. So all these Acharyas spend a lot of time in Bhakti also. So Jnani is an exception. 99.99% of the people are not Jnanis, according to what we understand. Okay? There may be Jnani hiding somewhere right in this class. We don't know that. It's not me though. So, Anushtana, Japa, this is the morning daily duty of Jagadguru Shankara in Sringeri. 3 to 3:30 a.m. they wake up. 3:30 to 4 morning ablutions. If you look at it, Dhyana, Japa, Puja is there. But Chandramodeshwara Puja is in the night. And there's also some Puja in the morning. That is 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. there is some kind of Puja. And some studies, teaching, and things like that. So this is even for a jnani, this puja is not binding. That is what. But there are two types here. In the 4th chapter, what they say, karmanya vipravartopi nishkriyatma darshana sampannatvat naiva kinchit karoti saha. 4.20. Shankaracharya says, even though he actively does puja and everything, he is not doing anything because he is already a jnani. That is possible. Sadhanam karma sanyasya sharira yatra matracheshtaha yatihi jnananishtaha muchyate. That means the all sadhanas he gives up. And he only lives for his body, that is eating a little bit, doing some things here and there, bodily cleanliness and bodily eating and stuff like that. That's what he does. He is a jnananishta. But still today what is happening? They are doing a lot of pujas. Even today, if you go anywhere, there will be pujas. This is a typical Sri Vaishnava Acharya. This I am showing Ahobila Matha. Even here, they are doing puja. Similarly, in the Manavada Mamani Mathas, there are so many Mathas of Sri Vaishnava origin. They do the 5 Panchakala Prakriya. Abhigamana, Upadana, Ijja, Swadhyaya, Yoga, Meditation. All these 5, they are do Panchakala. Every day in the morning, they do this kind of puja and everything. That is normal bhakti practice in the Sri Vaishnava tradition. Now, I want you to read this very carefully, okay? And think about this. Can you see my screen properly? I will read it for you, but I want each one of you to read
we can
this.
see
I want each one of you to think about this. The way to truth lies through the destruction of the false To destroy the false, you must question your most inveterate beliefs. Of these, the idea that you are the body is the worst. With the body comes the world. With the world, God, who is supposed to have created the world, and thus it starts fears, religions, prayers, sacrifices, yajnas, all sorts of systems, all to protect and support the child man, frightened out of his wits by monsters of his own making. Realize that what you are cannot be born nor die, and with the fear gone, all suffering ends. This is from Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. But however, Nisargadatta Maharaj students say he prayed every day, and he said, I got used to prayers, I couldn't leave it, I just continue. That's what he says. He prayed every day. But look at his statements. Do you get this kind of a understanding from the Shankara Bhashya?
Yes.
Think about this.
Yes, it is similar.
It is similar, but there is a small problem. I will ask you to think about it. That is why I did not give you the answer. Think properly. Is there a difference between Shankara Bhashya and Nisargadatta Maharaj? There is a minor difference. That one I would leave you to think about. But think about it's very complex. I will send a notes and description written by a friend of mine. When I asked this question publicly to some friends, I put it out, and a couple of people answered their questions. Some people thought that, oh, this is identical to Shankara Bhashya. Okay. Some people thought that there is a main difference between this and Shankara Bhashya. It is very important to understand. If you look at Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, you will not come to this conclusion. I can give it in writing. Is Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita an imaginary entity which is coming out of the mind of Arjuna?
Krishna, that's what I was going to say. Here it says with the body.
Who is this? Oh, you're Partha. Okay. Partha, tell me.
With the word, the God comes. That is the difference.
That's true. This particular statement thinks that the God is a mental concept made by the God cooked, that is our own mind cooked up God, and the fears and the need for worship. This is not according to Advaita theory. In Advaita, Shadasmakam Anadayaha, they say there are 6 Anadis. So Anadi Ishvara, Anadi Jiva, Anadi Ajnana. So Ishvara is not a mental concept. So there is a small problem. I think Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj's experience is different, slightly different from Shankaracharya's experience. Okay, we cannot say. Obviously, Nisargadatta Maharaj is an extremely realized person, great person. Okay, and I being like a worm today, I can't even talk about this. I'm just trying to give you some information, transmitting information. This is not my writing of Nisargadatta Maharaj. I took it right from the internet, which said that this is what Nisargadatta Maharaj said. But the thing is, what you need to understand is, half of the Advaitins don't believe that this is exact copy of what Shankara Bhashya is. And even in the Shankara Bhashya, if you look at the Bhashya, Narayana para objekta, the first sentence of Shankaracharya introducing Bhagavad Gita, Narayana is para objekta, that is an unmanifest, Brahman. That's not an imaginary mental concept. Okay.
This seems to be more towards Ashtavakra Gita, extreme Advaita, not
right.
about Shankaracharya.
Exactly. This is more towards Yoga Vasishta, Ashtavakra Gita, and those kind of writings. So there is some kind of a extreme Advaita.
Krishna, I think this is very deeper. What the Maharaj is saying here is, you shall not identify with the body. Because the body has to exist in a realm, and that realm is world. So once you start going towards that, you start having the differentiation between yourself and the God. When you are not recognizing yourself with the body, you're saying you're outside the body, you're different from the body, then it's different. It's very different. So this is an extremely deep statement.
It's an extremely deep statement. This is when somebody is realized.
Yeah.
When he is one with God, he doesn't say God as separate.
Yes.
See, here if you look, that's a good point you brought, Parthaji. What they're saying is, once you know you are one with that, that means there is no Veda. When there is no Veda, there is no need for Bhakti. There is no need, you yourself are that. This is more like Kadal Jnanam.
Yes.
Yane. What is the verse? Kadal Jnanam.
Kadal Jnanam.
Kadalnyalam Seidenum Yane Ennum.
Kadal Jnanam
Avenum Yane Ennum.
In that realization, this is correct. Nisargadatta Maharaj is exactly what he is saying. He is already that. He is unborn. He cannot die. He is always there. I am not separate from Brahman in that position. So we have to be careful in understanding Advaita. Even our own Sri Vaishnava tradition people have trouble understanding this Kadalnyanam Pashanam, right? They can't digest it properly.
Krishna, why go till the end? This path in the second 1, 2, right? Vedamin Mutrum, there itself there is a lot of confusions. Not confusions, but discussions.
Yeah. Vedamin Muttamam Randavad Path. Yes. Second path. Very difficult.
The very 12th sloka, the very 12th pasram.
Romba Suchumana Vishayangaladalla.
Ama. This is so now I'm analyzing what is the state of Vedanta today. Why did I bring up Nisargadatta Maharaj? He was recently there. I don't know if he is there now, but he was a recent person.
Yeah, he has attended Samadhi a few years back. Correct.
So now, immediately I myself have written Kadalnyanam Shaidenum Yane Yannum Kadalnyanam Avenum Yane Yannum. What Nammadvar says is, I created this earth surrounded by water. I became this everything. I am the one who measured this earth in the Trivikrama Avatara. I am the one who dug it out and annihilated this earth. This is Nammadvar Pasharam 5.6.1. Even though he experienced oneness with Brahman, Nammadvar strictly advocated bhakti and surrender. His 1,000 hymns are divine, and Gopikas were similar too. They advocated bhakti, but Gopikas felt that they themselves were Krishna. In many of the Bhagavata, they say, I killed that Shakatasura. I killed that Putana. I did this. They became one with Krishna. That is possible. So, Ramana Maharshi says, what exists in truth is self alone. The world, the individual, and the soul and the God are appearances in it. So some people have this kind of experience. Ramana Maharshi says, when we turn the mind inwards, God manifests as the inner consciousness. God has to exist within us, right? And you realize God within. That is Antaryami, you realize. This is the Ramana Maharshi. And Ramana Maharshi has different views. I'm directly quoting from the Guru Vachaka, Kovai, verse 307 of Ramana Maharshi. He says, declaring, know that if you take refuge in me, that is Krishna says, I will liberate you from the bondage of the twofold karma. That is good and bad deeds. Lord Krishna, the ocean of grace, using Arjuna as the intermediary between him and us, asks us all to take refuge in him, Sri Ramana Maharshi. So Ramana Maharshi can slip between Bhakti and Advaita Bhavana. So he has the way to connect these two. And similarly, Nammadvar had a similar way to connect, right? And Ramana Maharshi says there is no greater mystery, there is no greater mystery than this, that we keep seeking reality, though in fact we are reality. We think that there is something hiding reality and that this covering should be destroyed before reality is gained. How ridiculous. The day will dawn when you will laugh at all your past efforts. That which will be the day you laugh is also here and now. Right now, you are not bound. You are already Brahman. Only some people can realize this. He further says, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is to check the mind from changing, which is acceptable to all. That is also the goal of all. Once your mind does not go anywhere and it stays, you realize God. The method is chosen according to one's own fitness, where you are in the path. The goal for all is the same, yet different names are given to the goal only to suit the process preliminary to reaching the goal. Bhakti, Yoga, Jnana are all same. This is by Ramana Maharshi. So each Acharya has different realizations. There are different paths in the whole process. But let us think about this carefully. Ramana Maharshi was on his deathbed. All its suffering is apparent only to the onlooker and does not affect a jnani. That is, jnani does not suffer. For he no longer identifies the self with the body. He thinks his body is separate. So the pain caused by the body, it doesn't affect him. He lives in a transcendent state above all such. But this conversation is slightly different. Let's understand this. This conversation is especially interesting in the view what happened in the case of Bhagavan, Ramana Maharshi himself, during the last days. He certainly appeared to suffer terribly. At night, he was unaware that anybody could hear him. He lay on his couch, groaning and calling out. At that time, it was indeed difficult to realize that he as a jnani. But he did not feel pain in the same way as we do. He saw it as something apart from him. The pain was separate, he was separate, body was separate, as a dream which could be regarded as objectively, as if he sees a dream. So physically, you can probably hear him crying out, showing pain like anybody else. But because of his Atmajnana, he has isolated himself from the body. So he looks at the body as a separate entity and says, oh, that body is wiggling. I'm watching. He doesn't feel the pain. The body and the mind complex feels the pain. The mind and the intellect makes the body cry or feel, move around, or, all those things. But he identifies himself as a separate Atman. This is possible for great people, not ordinary people. So, before we say, I'll tell you one thing. For all Acharyas, two things are common in the Bhagavad Gita. They agree with two things. What are those two things? I want you to remember. That is why I didn't want to show it.
Brahman is the ultimate reality, and surrender to Brahman
is the ultimate Marga or Paramarga, Paradharma.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
This is very important to understand. Brahman is Paratattva and highest entity to be known. Surrendering to Bhagavan is the Paradharma. This is quoted by Sri Vedanta Deshika in his work. How did he quote it? He remembers so many people who have written Bhashyas of Bhagavad Gita. Ranti, Guhadeva, Pishacha, Ranti, Guhadeva, and so many authors in the past. Can anybody remember what is, how many Bhashyas were there prior to Ramanuja.org?
94.
95.
99 and 95. Yeah.
95.
Sorry.
Ramanuja.org Bhashya is the 96th one. And prior to him, there were 95 Bhashyas, which include Shankara Bhashya and so many Bhaskara Bhashya and so many other Bhashyas. So, but all these Bhashyas agree with one thing: Bhagavan is the Paratattva. There is one higher entity called the Bhagavan, that is the highest entity, that is Paratattva. Surrendering to Bhagavan, he is the Paradharma. This is clear. Surrender is clear according to all Acharyas. No. Many of the Advaita Acharyas don't believe in it. We don't agree. Many people can say it. So be it. Let them say. Again, what is the main difference between Advaita and the combination of Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita? What is the main difference?
Nirguna and Savishesha, Nirvishesha and Savishesha Brahman, the difference.
One difference. What is the other difference?
Whether you are God or whether you are surrendering to God.
No.
One
Second
is
difference.
Mayavada. In Advaita, it is Mayavada. In Dvaita, it is Tattvavada. And Vishishtadvaita, it's actually.
No. Don't say, no. Combine Vishishtadvaita and Dvaita as one basket for now.
There are three things.
Talk about what is different in Advaita.
Only one.
Nirvishesha Brahman.
No, sir. Jiva is one. In Vishishtadvaita, three. Jiva, Jada, and Brahman. Three are different.
So I'm asking you to focus on this word, the main difference.
Ultimate thing is only one in Advaita.
There may be many differences. There may be a number of differences, but we're talking about two main critical differences.
Veda and Abeda.
Everything is real in Vishishtadvaita and Dvaita, while in Advaita there are two different levels of reality.
Anybody else?
Veda and Abeda.
Tell me. I didn't hear you, Mommy.
Jnana mattume moksha sadhana. Jnaname moksha. Jnana moksha.
That is one. See, Jnana and Moksha is common to all three Acharya systems, by the way. How they define Jnana is the only difference. So that is not the main difference.
So like Ramaji said, it's Veda, right? Advaita is Veda and these two are Veda.
See, they are not main differences. Okay, let me explain to you. Prashant Ji was getting close to it, but he got confused afterwards. The main thing is Nirvishesha Vada. That is Brahman is Nirvishesha. It does not have any attributes. That is according to Shankaracharya. The other one is Maya Vada, the existence of the concept of Maya. That is only in Advaita. Maya Vada and Nirvishesha Brahma Vada. That's only in Advaita. That is not in Vishishtadvaita or Dvaita. This is a very critical difference you need to remember. Now, as we go, we will explain how the Acharyas deviate in their Bhashyas. But fundamentally, we will go in the path of Bhakti, because Bhakti is common to all Acharyas. Why? Surrendering is important. Bhagavan is Paratattva. This is decided in the Bhagavad Gita. We are not talking about Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, and everything like that. We're talking about only Bhagavad Gita today. And this is clear. And I already proved, I took pictures of Sringeri Jagadguru, Sonde Mata, that there's everything I showed you, that Bhakti is very important for every Acharya today, right? Now, so let us go through the middle path of Bhakti. Bhakti is very important. Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. You want to get jnana, you need Bhakti. So Bhakti is a good path, very practical path. Let us understand the path of Bhakti. So I have already talked to you, only maybe 7 or 8 of you now today, and I have talked about 25 people in my HUA class. All of them agreed. We have to go in a way that a way to understand Bhagavad. See, we are only talking about 3 Acharyas: Shankaracharya, Ramanuja, Madhvacharya, or maybe other Acharyas. Why don't you talk about the original words of Mahabharata, Gita? Krishna's words, you have to respect Krishna's words. So let us try to figure out the message of Krishna as Krishna talked. So the textual text of Gita and the internal consistency. Don't bring too much of Upanishadic thought right now, because Upanishad has things all over the place. Derive the information right within the Bhagavad Gita text. That is why when we were all young, I don't know about you people, I don't know about other people. A lot of people, the older people used to come and say, why don't you by heart Bhagavad Gita? Even Shankaracharya says in the Bhajagovindam, Bhagavad Gita, Kinchidadita, he says, little bit of study of Bhagavad Gita is important. That came as almost like a good practice in many, many families. So the text of Bhagavad Gita is very important. Let us try to understand the message of Bhagavad Gita as Vyasa wrote. Start with the Bhakti-oriented school to start with and finish the entire viewpoint. With one point of view, understand one system. The entire Bhagavad Gita message in one, because we can always go how to find the rest of the views. Why not choose Madhvacharya first? Because that is also a Bhakti Bhashya, right? Bhakti is important. Why not choose Madhvacharya? Ramanuja.org takes the middle path because Madhvacharya takes complete abheda, complete bheda, difference, panchabheda, everything is different. There is never unity. There's always separate. The Taratamya, gradation. So Madhvacharya goes on the extreme side on the left, on one left or right, whatever, right? It's all bheda. On the other hand, Shankaracharya goes on the extreme abheda side, complete bheda, oneness, aikya. Ramanuja.org takes the middle path between the two extremes. Absolute bheda is Madhvacharya. Absolute abheda is Shankara. Ramanuja.org tries to negotiate between these two paths. Hence, reading Ramanuja first, since we can always go and extend this 15 class to 18 classes or 19 classes and bring in and summarize Shankara in 3 classes, summarize Madhva in 3 classes eventually. But what we should, to understand the concept of Gita properly, you have to first look at Bhakti as a basis. And Ramanuja is very, very easy to understand and it is extremely in detail. Madhvacharya did not comment on all the Gita verses. He wrote very short explanations of the verses. Hence, it is very difficult to follow Madhvacharya, Madhva unless you involve the later commentators like Raghavendra Swamiji and Jaitirtha and so many other commentators. So this is a little harder process. And not only that, Madhvacharya does not make a distinct separation between Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and it's a little bit combined view there. His pathway is slightly different. So it is not that easy to understand his views. So we will go first in the next 2-3 classes, summarize Ramanuja from the first chapter all the way to the end. We already finished 2 chapters according to both Acharyas, or 3 Acharyas. So quickly we will go through in the next 1 or 2 classes the entire Bhagavad Gita according to Ramanuja first. That is a Bhakti Marga. And you will also get a lot, while doing the Ramanuja, you will see there's a lot of things all 3 Acharyas agree within the Bhagavad Gita. Maybe 60-70% of the Bhagavad Gita, all 3 Acharyas agree exactly. So there is no point. So we will be covering the common portion of the Bhagavad Gita so that the message of the Bhagavad Gita is understood properly. So this is what we will do. Now, for those people, I didn't want to put this Kannada first. I'll put the English first because many people here don't know Kannada. Okay, this is the same thing. These 2 slides are same. I want to explain to you what it is. Here, I want on the right side. Please don't forget about the left Kannada side. Look at the right side. Here is the Sachidananda Dendra Saraswati Swamiji, who is an Advaita Acharya who passed away recently. He has written 20, 30, 40 books. Prakasha.org. He gives all his publications. Incidentally, this Swamiji, Sachidananda Saraswati Swamiji, wrote Vedanta Sangraha of Ramanuja and explained it in Kannada or English, Kannada maybe. And Vedanta Sangraha is the first work of Ramanuja. In the he is the Swamiji from Hode Narsipur. And in that, the preface or the, what do you call, like foreword was written by Rangapriya Swami, one of my teachers, one of my gurus. whom I have met for a number of years, and who is now, he has already attained Paramapadam. Even Sachidananda Swami has attained Paramapadam. I read his books continuously to understand Shankara Bhashya. He's one of the best writers. And for me, Kannada is a comfortable language. So he writes in Kannada, and that's easy for me to read. And I have read a lot of his books, for almost last 35, 40 years. I remember the day I got married, somebody gave me some gifts, and I told them, don't give me physical gifts. You have to give me cash. And they gave me a lot of cash. I went to this Adhyatma Prakashanalaya and got like 25, 30 or 50 books and took it to America. So many of his books I purchased right at that time. Coming back to this, now we see, this is the foreword written by Rangapriya Swami, and I'm translating it in English. Rangapriya Swami says, His Holiness Sachidanandendra Swamiji prefers Shankaracharya's views, but his eulogy on Ramanujacharya will sway his followers. His Holiness Sachidanandendra Swami states, due to his kindness, Sri Krishna, that is Ishvara, Krishna, has instructed Sagunopasana. Sagunopasana means that is Upasana of the deity with all the wonderful auspicious Kalyana Gunaganas qualities. We people should not look down upon Sagunopasana. This is written by the Advaita Swami. Even the sannyasi disciples of Shankaracharya do Narayana Smarana even today, every day. He says, not only it is wrong to have this idea that Advaitis don't believe in the following, the doctrines that Narayana is Parabrahma. Many Advaitis may think, oh, no, that is not acceptable to us. His Holiness saying that is wrong. Hence, one should achieve satisfaction by praising, worshipping, meditating, and adoring him with deep devotion and love to get Parabhakti. Some Advaitis feel that this is wrong, but his Sachidananda Swami says both are right. Advaitas don't believe in the following, that is wrong. So, Bhakti to Narayana is Parabrahma, and Bhakti by praising, worshipping, meditating, adoring him with deep devotion and love to get Parabhakti. Ordinary Bhakti will lead to Parabhakti. That this Acharya supports. He says Bhakti is an extremely essential sadhana for many people today. We have to believe in it with conviction. That is by His Holiness Sachidanandendra Swamiji. You see here, Advaita Swami of yesterday, that too very powerful one, believes in this, Bhakti and the Parabrahma is Narayana. Now, I will quickly read the Kannada for those people who know Kannada, because they will appreciate it better in this language. Rangapriya Swami, His Holiness Rangapriya Swami says, ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟಾದ್ವೈತಕ್ಕೆ ಅನೇಕ ವಿಷಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾದ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯಗಳನ್ನು ಮಂಡಿಸಿರುವ ಶ್ರೀ ಶಂಕರ ಭಗವತ್ಪಾದರ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತದಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀ ಸ್ವಾಮಿಗಳಿಗೆ ನಿಷ್ಠೆ. ಶ್ರೀ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಇಸ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದೇಂದ್ರ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ. ಆದರೆ ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟಾದ್ವೈತ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲೂ ಮತ್ತು ಅದರ ಸ್ಥಾಪಕಾಚಾರ್ಯರಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ಭಗವದ್ ರಾಮಾನುಜರ ವಿಷಯದಲ್ಲೂ ಅವರು ಗ್ರಂಥದ ಪೀಠಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಂಡಿಸಿರುವ ಪ್ರಶಂಸಾ ವಾಕ್ಯಗಳು ಸಜ್ಜನರನ್ನು ತಲೆದೂಗಿಸುತ್ತವೆ. ಶ್ರೀ ಭಗವಂತನು ಅರ್ಜುನನಲ್ಲಿ ಪರಮ ಪ್ರೇಮ ಉಳ್ಳವನಾಗಿದ್ದರಿಂದಲೇ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಹಿತವನ್ನು ಬಯಸಿ ಸಗುಣ ಉಪಾಸನೆಯನ್ನು ಬೋಧಿಸಿರುತ್ತಾನೆ ಎಂದು ಭಗವದ್ಗೀತಾ ಭಾಷ್ಯದ 11ನೇ ಅಧ್ಯಾಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀ ಶಂಕರಾಚಾರ್ಯರು ಬರೆದಿರುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೀಗಿರುವಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮಂಥವರು ಗರ್ಭದಿಂದ ಸಗುಣೋಪಾಸನೆಯನ್ನು ಕಡೆಗಾಣಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣವೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಶ್ರೀ ಶಂಕರಾಚಾರ್ಯರು ಅವರ ಶಿಷ್ಯ ಪರಂಪರೆಗೆ ಸೇರಿದ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿಗಳು ಇಂದಿಗೂ ನಾರಾಯಣ ಸ್ಮರಣೆಯನ್ನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ನಾರಾಯಣನೇ ಪರಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಎಂಬ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತವಾಗಲಿ, ಸ್ತುತಿ, ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ನಾಮಸಂಕೀರ್ತನ, ಅರ್ಚನ ಮುಂತಾದವುಗಳಿಂದ ಭಗವಂತನನ್ನು ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಪ್ರೇಮದಿಂದ ಧ್ಯಾನ ಮಾಡುವ ಪರಭಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ಸಂಪಾದಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಕೃತಾರ್ಥರಾಗಬೇಕೆಂಬ ಉಪದೇಶವಾಗಲಿ ಅದ್ವೈತಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಅಸಮ್ಮತವೆಂದು ಅಗೆಯುವುದು ತಪ್ಪೆಂಬುದು ತಪ್ಪೆಂಬುದು ಹಾಗಿರಲಿ. ಈಗಿನ ಕಾಲಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹುಜನರಿಗೆ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಅವಶ್ಯವಾಗಿರುವ ಸಾಧನವೆಂದರೆ ಅದೇ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಭಕ್ತಿ ಮಾರ್ಗ ಎಂದು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ನಿಶ್ಚಿತವಾಗಿ ನಂಬಬೇಕು. ಈ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ವೇದಾಂತ ಸಂಗ್ರಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಶಂಕರ ಅನುಯಾಯಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಗ್ರಾಹ್ಯಾಂಶವು ಬಹಳವಿದೆ ಎಂದು ನಮ್ಮ ದೃಢವಾದ ನಂಬಿಕೆ. After writing Vedanta Sangraha, he says, even for Advaitis, one should read Vedanta Sangraha because there's a lot of commonality in Bhakti, Nama Sankirtana and everything which are required, essential thing for Advaitis also. That is why you see so many Nama Sankirtana paramparas are there, even in the Advaita ashramas. Sadguru Nazar, there is so many Nama Sankirtana only oriented Advaitis. They follow Tyagaraja,
Ramadasi
Sampradaya, Tyagaraja Sampradaya, and I also know the Tamil speaking Sampradaya who constantly do Nama Sankirtana. Muralidhara Swami and his Sadguru Sachin, I'm forgetting his name. They completely spend their lives in Nama Sankirtana from morning to evening. So, coming back, I should have started this here. Last lecture from this lecture. What is the time? 9:21 today? We are already like 1 hour 10 minutes, 1 hour 15 minutes or something. So maybe why don't we pick up this tomorrow? We'll stop here. We've made the point. The summary is Bhakti Marga is very important for everybody, including all the Anuyayis, disciples of Shankaracharya also. So we will follow. First, we will start with Ramanuja.org. If you want, we can summarize Shankara Bhashya and Madhvacharya also at the end. Okay? Any questions today? I did not stop for any questions, but maybe we have some questions.
Namaskaras. I had one question, not regarding anything today, but then major question, like if like we are going through the summary of all the 3 Bhashyas, at least whether we are going to go through the Ramanujacharya's Bhashya completely.
See, that is after this, right? We have taken is we have taken a break from the Bhagavad Gita continuous. See, many people were confused. You know what happened. So we said, okay, we will summarize everything in just 10-11 classes. And that is what we are doing. Once we finish it, we will go through the entire, we will even do the Shankara Bhashya, Ramanuja Bhashya, Madhva Bhashya comparative study just like before. But I want to make sure everybody understands. So we will come up with a method later.
Okay, thank you. And one question regarding Prapatti. Ramanujacharya seems to be more vocal on Prapatti, it's more pronounced rather than all other Acharyas. Would that be true?
It is true because Prapatti Marga is the major methodology for the Vishishtadvaitis. Even in the practice today, if you go to any Vishishtadvaita Matha, the Acharyas there encourage and prescribe Prapatti as the easiest method today available because the other margas are difficult to pursue, and they in fact that is one of the sacraments. Shama, Shrena, Bharanyasa, these are sacraments given in the Vishishtadvaita Sampradaya even today. There are slightly 2 differences. One school is Tengalai and one school is Vadagalai. In the Tengalai, Samashranam itself becomes a Prapatti. They don't want to highlight a Marga or a Upaya. So they in fact, even today in Samashrana, during Samashrana, they do Prapatti in the Tengalai Sampradaya. But in the Vadagalai Sampradaya, they do Prapatti in a separate sacrament called the Bharanyasa or Bharanyasa mainly, Prapatti, Bharanyasa. And Samashrena is only to become a Vaishnava. Initiation to Vaishnavism is the Samashrena according to the Vadagalai school. But they're all combined in the Tengalai school. That's all the differences. So in the entire Vishishtadvaita Sampradaya, Prapatti or surrender is absolutely important.
Thank you.
Even for Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, it is important, but they take it in a slightly different way. We will talk about it later.
Thank you.
Okay. So we'll stop here today and we'll continue. We may take a couple of extra classes, but I'm trying to be slower so that people can understand. Okay. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi and Simha Parabrahmane Namaha, Shri Lakshmi Hayavana Parabrahmane Namaha, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Hope this class was of some use.